Dear students, welcome to Doctor's Academy for Taxation and Accounting. Through this video, let us discuss the fourth head of income, that is capital gain. The sections 45 to 55A is dealing with the computation of capital gain. In addition to that, section 94, subsection 7 and 8, 111A, 112, 112A, 115 ACA are also dealt for computation of capital gain. Any gain arising out of the transfer of capital asset is said to be capital gain. Capital gain means any gain arising out of the transfer of capital asset. So to learn the computation of capital gain, we must know the important terms associated in it. The first term is capital asset. Second is the transfer of capital asset. According to section 214, capital asset means a property of any kind held by an assessee, whether connected with his business or profession or not, or any securities held by a foreign institutional investor which has invested in such securities in accordance with the regulations made under the Securities Exchange Board of India Act 1992. And the capital asset may be movable or immovable, or it may be tangible or intangible asset, or it may be fixed or floating asset. And the capital asset includes goodwill, leasehold rights, jewelry, shares, manufacturing license, etc. And the property includes any right in it or in relation to an Indian company, including rights of management or control or any other rights whatsoever. Business undertaking is a capital asset. Gain on transfer of a business undertaking are assessable as capital gain. However, the term capital asset does not include the following: any stock in trade, consumable stores, or raw materials held for the purpose of business or profession. Personal effects in the nature of movable, including wearing clothes and apparels and furniture, held for personal use by the assessee or any member of his family or dependent on him. Thus, a car or any other vehicles, refrigerator, television, or a laptop or other electrical appliances are included in this. So these items are not considered to be capital asset. The following assets will not be treated as personal effect and therefore it is liable to tax: archaeological collections, drawings, paintings, sculptures, or any work of art, or any jewelry. And jewelry includes ornaments made of gold, silver, platinum, or any other precious metal, whether or not worked or sewn into any wearing apparel. Precious or semi-precious stones, whether or not set in any furniture, utensil, or other article, or worked or sewn into any wearing apparels. Agricultural land in India is not considered as capital asset, provided it is not situated within the limits of any municipality or a cantonment board having population of 10,000 or more, or within the area measured aerially specified as below, not being more than 2 kilometers from the local limits and which has population of more than 10,000 but less than 1 lakh. Not being more than 6 kilometers from the local limits and which has population more than 1 lakh but less than 10 lakhs. not being more than 8 kilometers from the local limits and which has population more than 10 lakhs. 6.5% gold bonds 1997 or 7% gold bonds 1980 or National Defense Gold Bonds 1980 issued by the central government. Special Bearer Bonds 1991. Gold deposit bonds issued under the Gold Deposit Scheme 1999 or deposit certificate issued under the Gold Monetization Scheme 2015 notified by the central government.
Therefore, stock in trade, personal effects in the nature of movable agricultural land situated in India, gold bonds, bearer bonds, and gold deposit bonds are not to be considered as capital asset.
And there are certain self-generated assets are also considered to be capital asset. The cost of acquisition of self-generated goodwill of a business will be treated as nil and the entire net sale consideration will be taxable under capital gain. The cost of acquisition of self-generated tenancy rights, stage carriage permits and loom hours will be nil and the entire net consideration will be taxable as capital gain. The cost of own right to manufacture, produce or processes any article or thing will be nil and the entire net sales consideration will be taxable as capital gain. Self-generated assets shall also include the right to carry on any business or profession. The capital assets can be broadly classified into two categories, short-term capital assets and long-term capital assets. According to section 2 subsection 42A, any asset held by an assessee for not more than 36 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer is said to be short-term capital assets. But in the case of a financial asset being a security other than a unit listed in a recognized stock exchange in India or a unit of Unit Trust of India or a unit of an equity oriented fund or a zero coupon bond, the short-term capital asset will mean a security held by the assessee for not more than 12 months instead of 36 months. The short-term capital asset will mean a security held by the assessee for not more than 12 months instead of 36 months. If unlisted shares of a company or land or building or both is held by the assessee for not more than 24 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer will be treated as short-term capital asset. The understanding is any asset held by the assessee for more than 36 months is long-term capital asset and if it is held for less than 36 months is said to be short-term capital asset. But in the case of share securities, bonds, etc., that is the financial asset, it is less than 12 months. If it is held for less than 12 months, then it is said to be short-term capital asset. And any gain arising out of the transfer of the short-term capital asset is said to be short-term capital gain. Here the gain may be positive or negative, which means loss. According to section 229, long-term capital asset means a capital asset held by an assessee for more than 36 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer, which does not include a listed security or a unit of UTI or unit of equity oriented fund or zero coupon bond. In the case of listed securities or units of UTI or units of equity oriented fund or zero coupon bond held by an assessee, long-term capital asset will mean such asset held by an assessee for more than 12 months. If unlisted shares of a company or a land or building or both are held by the assessee, long-term capital asset will mean such asset held by the assessee for more than 24 months. Here if any asset held by the assessee for more than 36 months, then it is said to be long-term capital asset, and which excluded with the listed securities and unit of UTI or the financial securities or the financial asset. In such a case, if the asset held for more than 12 months, then it is said to be long-term capital asset. And any gain arising out of the transfer of long-term capital asset is said to be long-term capital gain. According to section 2 subsection 47, transfer of a capital asset includes the sale, exchange or relinquishment of the asset, or the extinguishment of any rights therein, or compulsory acquisition under any law, or where the asset is converted by the owner into stock in trade of a business carried on by him, or the maturity or redemption of a zero coupon bond, or conversion of a business into a limited company, or any transaction involving the following of the possession of any immovable property to be taken or retained in part performance of a contract of the nature referred to in the Transfer of Property Act 1982, or any transaction whether by way of becoming a member of or acquiring shares in a cooperative society, a company, etc., which has the effect of transferring the enjoyment of any immovable property.
would be considered as transfer.
The computation of capital gain under short term as well as long term is almost the same, but there are slight difference in the case of the long term capital gain computation. So first let us discuss the computation of short term capital gain. For the computation of capital gain, we need the sale price or the exchange price or the transfer price, or we technically call it as full value of consideration. So from which we can deduct expenses in connection with the transfer is equal to net consideration. Then we can deduct the cost of acquisition, that is the purchase price for that particular asset. Then deduct the cost of improvement if any. Balance will be the short term capital gain. From this value we can deduct eligible deduction under sections 54B and 54D in the case of short term capital asset. Along with that, section 54G and section 54GA in some special cases. So these are the permitted deductions while computing the short term capital gain. They are section 54B, 54D, 54G and 54GA. And the balance will be taxable short term capital gain. Hope it is clear. Now let us see the computation of long term capital gain. So let us see how it is differing. First of all, start with the full value of consideration as we discussed. Then deduct expenses in connection with the transfer if any. Balance will be the net consideration. Then deduct indexed cost of acquisition. Then deduct indexed cost of improvement if any. Balance will be long term capital gain, and then deduct eligible deduction under section 54 to 54 GB if it is applicable. So here the difference with short term capital gain computation and long term capital gain computation is, here we are using the indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. So let us see what is indexation process. Indexation means adjusting a price, wage or other value based on the changes in another price or composite indicator of prices. Indexation can be done to adjust for the effects of inflation, cost of living, or input prices over a time, or to adjust for different prices and cost in different geographic areas. See here, cost inflation index in relation to previous year means the index as the central government may having regard to 75% of the average rise in the consumer price index, that is in urban, for the immediate preceding year. Notify in this behalf would be considered as the index for that particular year. So it is to give the due weightage for the money which has expended by the assessee for purchasing the particular capital asset based on the cost inflation index and consumer price index. The point here is rupees 100 expended by the assessee 10 years before would not be equivalent to the same 100 rupee today. So to give that weightage for that 100 rupee will be considered through indexation process. It is applicable only in the case of long-term capital asset. Now let us see the notified cost inflation index considering 2001-2 as the base year and the value is 100. For 2002-3 it is 105, 109, 113, 117, 122, 129, 137, 148, 167, 184, 200, 220, 240, 254, 264, 272, 280, 289 respectively for 2002-3 to 2019-20. But for the financial year 2020-21, the cost inflation index is 301, which is shown in the table. So this is the notified cost inflation index. Indexed cost of acquisition would be computed based on the following formula. Cost of acquisition multiplied by cost inflation index for the year in which the asset is sold divided by cost inflation index for the first year in which the asset was held, or cost inflation index on 1/4/2001, whichever is later. For example, if the asset is purchased or held with effect from 1998, then take the cost inflation index for 2001-2, that is 100. And suppose the asset is sold in 2021, you take the value 301 for multiplying. Like that, you have to compute the indexed cost of acquisition. Now the indexed cost of improvement. This is also same, but only the difference is instead of cost of acquisition, you take cost of improvement. Cost of improvement multiplied by cost inflation index for the year in which the asset is sold divided by cost inflation index for the year in which the improvement to the asset is took place. For example, the asset bought on 2001 and it is improved in 2015-16. Then for improvement, you take the index for 2015-16 as the denominator, and for multiplying, you take the cost inflation index for the year in which the asset is sold. So here how we can work out is take the cost of improvement multiplied by the cost inflation index for the year in which the asset is sold, and it should be divided by the cost inflation index during the year in which the improvement is taken place. So if we work out this way, the cost of acquisition and the cost of improvement value will be enhanced through its weightage, which means the assessee will be getting an enhanced price of acquisition and an enhanced price of improvement to deduct from the value of consideration, so that his capital gain will be reduced. So it is giving only in the case of long-term capital asset, the asset which is held by the assessee for more than 36 months. Hope this concept is clear. The problems relating to this topic will be worked out in the subsequent videos. Hope this video is going to be useful for you, the students learning taxation, in particular the head of income capital gain. Thank you very much for watching Doctors Academy for Taxation and Accounting. If this video is really useful, kindly share it with your friends and others in your contact. Let them also be benefited. If you have not subscribed to my channel so far, kindly make it. Once again, thank you very much from Doctors Academy.